Well, turning back to Iowa now, where former President Donald Trump won the state's caucuses by a historic margin last night. CBS News projects he won 51% of the Republican vote, while the race for second place was neck and neck. Ron DeSantis beating Nikki Haley by a very slim margin. Both vowed they're the only candidate to take on Donald Trump and President Biden.
The big night is going to be in November, when we take back our country, and truly, we do make our country great again. Thank you very much, everybody.
I can tell you, because of your support, in spite of all of that they threw at us, everyone against us, we've got our ticket punched out of Iowa.
Underestimate me, because that's always fun. But we're on to New Hampshire.
So our Tony Dokoupil is joining us now with more on this. So Tony, this is really fascinating. You know, the first time around, Trump did not win Iowa. This time around, he's expanded his support. That is despite legal challenges, despite, I mean, a number of, let's say, all sorts of what would be bad publicity for other candidates is turning out to be really good for him. Who voted for him?
Yeah, it's true, Anne-Marie. I mean, he improved his performance over 2016, the last open Republican primary or caucus, in every category of voters, college-educated voters, younger voters. He did a great job in turning out just about everybody. The question then becomes why. I think one of the questions that is going to be asked for decades, in fact, is whether these court cases turned into a campaign trail opportunity for the former president, and maybe Republicans would have pushed him aside within their own ways if he were not elevated by the legal system. And there's a debate over all of that will unfold for a very long time. Let's talk about the issues that motivated people here. The issue of immigration was huge. Donald Trump put that issue on the map in 2016. It had not been something that Republicans were talking about as much as he was, and certainly not in the terms that he was. And that's because it cuts across a lot of categories here. And one of those categories is the degree to which the people coming here right now who want to be in this country can be Americanized into the culture of this country. I heard from many voters who see assimilation as an issue. And there are also these interesting expansions of the MAGA movement overall. We had a poll from CBS, a polling unit, that found that about half the voters who turned out last night to caucus identified themselves as MAGA voters. So what's a MAGA voter, part of the MAGA movement, believe? Well, almost 9 out of 10 of them, 88%, believe that Joe Biden was not legitimately elected in 2020. So you have that theme of retribution, correcting a wrong, which runs through the Trump campaign, guys.
And Tony, I know you've been on the ground there for quite a few days at this point. You were inside that caucus room last night, seeing democracy in action. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like and what voters there were telling you?
Well, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. You know, you've got the Wall of Honor, fallen local heroes who died in the line of duty. On the walkway in, you register. There's a big American flag. It begins with the pledge. Speeches for the candidates, and then little pieces of paper are torn up, and people write down their preference. It was civil, it was patriotic, it was a beautiful community gathering. But I have to say, and this is something I talked about on our show this morning, voters at the caucus site where I was were not pleased by the fact that the race was called, projected by virtually every network, I think every network and the AP, before they had even cast a vote in that room. And it really took the energy out of the process. And there were other locations where this also was the feeling. It just, it really seems like there's a better way to do it. But people in the room I was in particular were really not Trump people. They were more Haley people. And a lot of Democrats actually had come to re-register as Republicans for the evening in order to try to elevate Haley. They see her as a moderate who could be more unifying for the country. Of course, that gives ammunition to Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis to say, Nikki Haley, drop out of the race. You're not a true conservative. You're basically Gavin Newsom from South Carolina. That's how they will characterize it. But yeah, it was a very eye-opening experience overall. Beautiful, I would say, I would underscore, just to see democracy in action, though, bottom line.
Absolutely. Tony, thank you very much. We hope you get some rest.